Hey, good morning. Welcome to our Friday Facebook Live. Today I have Collette with me from Timeless Collage, and if you watched about a month ago, we had Julie Hall, the estate lady, on with us, and Julie is also in the estate sale business. Our main focus on that conversation was more about why people hire an estate company and kind of that side of it, but Collette was here today to kind of take that conversation to the next level and to talk with us about what it's like actually going through the process of an estate sale. So welcome.
Exactly. Thank you for having me.
Cool. So, and we just did one together not that long ago.
We did. We had the ability to work together just a couple of months ago, and I know you were able to witness the process as we went through and saw how detailed it is behind the scenes. So it was fun to be able to show you that and share that, because for somebody who doesn't know what to expect in preparation for estate liquidation, it helps to be able to share that with other people and help to educate the process.
It was so much more involved than anything that I had even imagined. So you had come out on the site. Well, let's start from the beginning. So there was a property that we'll be listing in the next couple months. The owner had passed away and had requested that his property be sold, and the executrix had reached out to me and asked me if we had any recommendations, as she's not in the Charlotte area. And we went ahead and we reached out to Julie Hall, who then went ahead and referred us to you, because she's not really doing the grunt work, so to speak, of the estate sales, because it really is a lot of physical work.
Right, it is a lot of physical work, and Julie, with all of her experience over the years, it's been our pleasure to get to know her and have the ability to have her offer her guidance, as she's now doing a lot of education and maintains the American Society of Estate Liquidators, which is where we were referred to you and our client from. Right. So with that, they did contact us, and we then will take time to meet with our clients after they reach out and see to it that we're able to establish a relationship with them and that we're the right liquidators for them and the property. And they invite us to their properties in order to resell the personal property or the estate, having nothing to do with the real estate, which is your profession. Right. And it's our duty to help to organize and prepare for their personal property sale.
Yeah. So when you came on site, you met with the owner or the executrix. Yes. Sorry, right. Executrix. And you guys sat down and you kind of went through the property and then went ahead and so kind of talk a little bit about that process, if you would.
So there's a lot of education involved, because many folks aren't aware of what that process is, like I mentioned. So we take time to educate our clients on the process, what's going to occur, see to it that they have removed all of their desired personal property previous to our service beginning, and then proceed with attempting to meet their goals. Each family is individual.
Right.
And that's what makes our job so interesting, because every single family is unique. And we try to serve their needs and try to meet their goals. For example, in this case, she needed to be able to prepare the property for real estate, which means that it has to be empty.
Right. And
what do you do with all of these things?
There was a lot of stuff.
There was a lot of stuff.
There was over 25 years of accumulation.
Right, exactly. And what do you do with all of these things? Our families, after we've established them and we have our own homes, we can't take everything with us. We don't have the space. So a good option is to attempt to resell that personal property. So that's one of the examples of why we might be called on to assist, to empty the property in order for it to be listed for real estate after somebody has passed away, and help to reach and meet the goals. So
yeah. And what I loved about working with you and watching you and Aaron work was that you really come into your job from a position of service. You're very sensitive to family and loved ones, and the emotions involved.
Absolutely.
When it comes to someone close to you passing away and then the estate behind. And you were amazing as far as and you did things that I didn't expect. Like, you had gone and made sure that all the neighbors were aware of the sale and introduced yourselves where you could, and you really tried to educate and communicate what was going to happen and when it was going to happen.
Thanks for recognizing that.
I think that was huge. That's a big thing.
Whenever you care and you're in our profession and are working in our industry for the right reason, it's easy to do that. You get to know people while still maintaining a professional relationship. You learn to gain a liking to the community that you're working in. And while we're servicing over the course of 2 weeks, we pass the neighbors.
Right.
You know, in the morning and evenings when we're coming and going. And the bottom line is, we're on your turf. We're working on your turf. And this is why we introduce ourselves to the neighborhood and see to it that the community is aware of what's going on in their neighborhood, especially a smaller neighborhood like we were in, where everybody's very close. Taking into consideration that it's a challenge that everybody is facing after having lost a loved one or a close friend. We need to see to it that we show compassion toward them. They're facing that challenge, grieving their loss,
You
and
were very
also
sensitive to that, yes.
well, they're grieving their loss, and also it's difficult to think about reselling the treasures that somebody has had in their life for so long. So we've come to an understanding that we are very privileged to be able to pass along those treasures and allow them a whole nother lifetime for somebody else to cherish at that dining table that the family that we're servicing has enjoyed meals. That table will have another lifetime with another family.
Beautifully put.
And so that's the joy in doing this. And so long as we maintain that compassion and maintain that standard, we're able to help these families and see to it that we're serving.
Yeah.
Just a quick shout out. Hi Quentin, hi Nadine, hi Corey, Jim, Tyler. Thanks guys for watching. Remember that you can ask your questions now or you can post them later to be answered with #replay.
Awesome.
Good morning.
Hi guys, thanks for joining us. So it was very interesting to be able to do this process with you and pull back the curtain and see how much prep work is done prior to the actual estate sale. I mean, you rented a dumpster, right?
We did.
And you went in, and you want to talk a little bit about that process?
Oftentimes, if a person is elderly or if a family is dislocated and is not in the home, it's not well kept, or there's an accumulation of clutter and things like that. So we're then asked, and we provide services to clean out the home, to better organize and display all of those special treasures that we are hoping to resell for the families. So the cleaning out process we feel is vital in order to be able to serve our clients, who are our top priority, the owners, executrix, the administrators for the estate. Serve them as priority, but also offer great service to our customers who come and purchase the items during the liquidation. So being able to organize and provide a clean environment is key, and ultimately that organization and display and seeing to it that the estate is attractive is what helps to resell and assists with the liquidation. So the clean out process takes a few days generally, and yes, we will dispose of items that aren't saleable, only the items that aren't saleable.
But then there were things that we talked about, like you'll clean the clothes. You were running the washing machine and the dryer, and you were cleaning the clothes for at the estate for the sale.
Yeah, we joke and say our estates are often more clean than our own home and better kept than our own home, because it is a daytime job with long hours, and we care for the homes as if they're our own.
And you guys were dynamos. I mean, you were wiping things down, mopping floors, cleaning off bookshelves. I mean, I mean, that was a lot of work.
It's a matter of respecting the estate and the family that we're working in, and seeing to it that we uncover those treasures and see to it that they're cared for well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Michael. Hi, June. June says, very interesting. Hi, David. Thanks for joining us today. Remember, you guys can ask your questions. Colette's here to answer anything that you might want to know about planning an estate sale, scheduling an estate sale, what it takes, what services that they can provide. So ask your questions here. And if you're tuning in after the broadcast, remember to hit #replay.
So you went in, you do the initial consult,
right.
You start doing the cleanup and the clean out,
mm-hmm.
and then basically you stage the property. I mean, you're setting prices on everything.
That's right.
So there's a lot of knowledge in addition to the grunt work of getting it ready, because it is. I mean, you guys were doing a lot of physical labor.
There is labor involved. It's a matter of moving, relocating items, and seeing to it that the organization of the estate is attractive. Mm-hmm. And it's part of the staging process. In preparation for the estate sale, we do itemize and price every single item in the home, and it allows for hello. Hi, I know it.
Puppy photo bomb.
It allows for the customers, our goal, I know. So our goal has to be, and we are invited into these homes to liquidate. Mm-hmm. And we keep that in mind. And while still focusing and, using that compassion and caring and respect for the home, cleaning, organizing, etc., we have to focus on the liquidation because that's what we've been invited to do. Mm-hmm. So with that, we use the best methods we know how with an electronic system, point of sale system, to offer accountability for sales and see to it that we use that electronic system to itemize every item in the home.
It was very smooth. It was very smooth and very professionally done. On average, how many items do you think you catalog at a sale? I know it could vary, obviously, and
there could be thousands.
Wow. Okay.
There could be thousands. It depends on, like I mentioned earlier, every single estate is unique. Every family is individual and unique, and we work hard to accommodate each different estate as need be. Mm-hmm. So there are many that have numerous items that need to be itemized or cataloged and mm-hmm. inventoried. Some have less, but it could be sums of thousands.
And what is normally the timeline for you? I guess really, I was going to ask just for the cataloging. I think must take a good amount of time, but from start to finish, prepping for an estate sale, how long does that normally take you from the initial consult and the clean out and the cataloging and the staging and then actually holding the sale? What's an average timeline for something like that?
We usually ask for 10 to 14 days to prepare for
sale. That's amazing.
Right.
But you were doing 12-hour days.
We sometimes do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, keeping in mind, we operate a family-owned and operated business mm-hmm. We've been blessed with fantastic help, and our assistants come in and help us with our sales and preparation, and they truly are a blessing. They are just fantastic and workhorses, and they know the business, and they're helpful in knowledge and resourcing information about certain items and things like this. So we all work together, and that teamwork is what makes it happen so quickly. Mm-hmm. So generally we ask 10 to 14 days to prepare for an estate, provided there aren't any extraordinary circumstances that we have to face.
Right. Hi, Pat. Thanks for watching. Collette, we have a question. So if there is an estate sale where there are multiple family members that are the beneficiaries of that sale, in your electronic point of sale, do you have the capacity, let's say Uncle Larry has been bequeathed a specific item that he wants sold at the sale, do you have the ability to catalog so that Uncle Larry then gets the benefit of the item that he sold separate from the others? Like, do you have a way to separate it out if there's multiple beneficiaries? Or is it just, here's the lump total, you guys duke it out?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
That is a good question because sometimes there are multiple beneficiaries who are managing, or multiple administrators who are managing an estate. We ask that we have one contact person in order to communicate effectively, and do that with that one and or two people if necessary. In regards to sales, each itemized item when sold.
Sorry, he's chomping pretty loudly on his
Yeah,
bone.
he's having a nice time. Excuse me. So each itemized item that is sold within our point of sale system is provided to our client on an inventory list post sale so that they can see clearly what that item sold for. We choose not to take responsibility of dividing amongst beneficiaries and would return the proceeds from the sale to the estate and or the administrator who is responsible for the estate in order for them to allocate those funds.
Perfect.
I think that makes sense because you want to stay in your lane,
I
and,
like
and you
to
don't want to
remain-
get into the lane
yes.
of the executrix and the estate and how they're
Right.
handling.
Right, and all of these topics are discussed previous to our services
Wow.
beginning, so it's very clear that we can take the proper steps to see to it that we offer satisfaction and that we're accountable and that we're servicing as best we can to see to it that we cover all aspects.
And
Hi,
I
Mike.
think
Hi,
that's,
Larry.
you know, I think that's smart, having 1 or 2 point people. Otherwise, you have too many cooks in the kitchen, and then there's miscommunication. And yeah, I
There's
think that
great
makes your job a lot
possibility
more.
of miscommunication, and we like to avoid that and remain neutral parties. So don't get involved directly with
Right.
the estate in regards to trust, etc.
Right. All right. So now we've talked about the pre.
That's
We've
right.
talked about the getting ready for and the during and the staging. Let's talk about right before the sale what you guys do and then how you handle the days of the sale.
So following fairly thorough advertising that we use multiple different avenues for, a lot of it being on social media or on the internet and using different sites, we hope to have attracted many buyers to come to the sale, and we arrange our sales over usually a 2 or 3 day period on a weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday during certain hours, and try to target the times that are best for the community that we're working in. Use analytics in order to do that and watch,
Nice.
our flow on the electronic systems. So,
Hi, Erin. And June Eileen says, great topic. I wish I had watched this before I liquidated my mother's house. So that brings the question, what are some things that people should do prior to contacting you in order to facilitate contracting your services or making things easier? What's a good starting point?
talk to your family now. I suggest talk to your family now and have discussions about what your goals are for the property. If you're in a situation that you are considering liquidation, some things that you can do to prepare previous to that interview is see to it that your family has achieved removing the special items that they're interested in keeping. Those desired items should be removed from the home, and then choose the liquidator that's right for you. And do some research and see to it that you find the proper company to service your family so that you can have that wonderful trusting relationship, because resale of personal property is a big deal. People have worked for many, many years to achieve their personal property. We consider it a really big deal. So look at attend a sale, attend an estate sale so that you know what to expect. And have thorough conversations with your family members to see to it that everybody is on the same page, and then invite the professional to come to your home and go through that interview process that we've talked about.
And Julie Hall had kind of talked about the same sort of thing, that these are the tough conversations to have with your family, preferably with the elderly parent prior to, so that it's not just left to the adult kids to kind of figure out how to liquidate the parents' property or what the parents' wishes were.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And perhaps remove any pets from the home. I'm just thinking.
Well, we put him inside
During
and
a
he whines and cries, and we put him out here and he decides he's part of the interview.
He's good company. That's fine.
But during a sale, maybe not to have pets
maybe
around.
not so much.
Right. We prefer not, please.
No.
Some people might not appreciate that.
Right.
But yeah, have those hard conversations when your family is well and able and has the cognitive ability to have those tough conversations. Nobody wants to talk about death and dying, but let's face it, we have to,
right?
Because I would rather make choices for my parents, knowing what they desire now.
Right.
That they're well, instead of doing it during challenging times whenever you're faced with grief or stress or just not knowing what to expect.
I just think it's hard because if you're the adult child and your parents haven't initiated that conversation, I think you feel it's awkward and uncomfortable, and then you don't want to be perceived as there's a lot of emotion, I think, that goes with that conversation. But I believe Julie talked about that in her books on how to have those tough conversations with your parents and how to bring that topic up so that it can be just a very open, not easy, but discussion where nobody gets offended.
Right.
So.
Hi Thomas, hi Courtney, thanks for watching. And you guys remember that you can always post your questions even after the broadcast has ended. Just remember to use #replay.
Cool. So, okay, so we were talking about you're getting ready for the sale. Now you have everything staged and set up in the home. Everything has its price tags on it. What's the next step? I know you kind of did a shout. So the social media, the advertising, getting the word out about the sale. Photographs.
Right. We do advertising with photographs and have begun to use videos to help to show the estate, to attract buyers to the estate during the dates of sale. Conduct sale on Friday and Saturday, or Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and in hopes to liquidate as much as possible for our client.
So you go around, you let the neighbors know the sale's coming up.
We do kind of a meet and greet where we'll go through the neighborhood and introduce ourselves and explain the process if anybody should have questions. Ultimately, there's a lot of traffic that comes into an area and attends a home during the time of us servicing that home during the sale.
Well, sure. And I think there's also just a natural curiosity, too.
Sure. And a lot of the neighbors, they like to attend. They like to know what property was within the home, had they not, had they not been there, or they're interested in keepsake items and purchasing items from the estate and things like this. So it's nice to be able to share that with them.
Yeah. We had quite a bit of that.
We did.
Right? We had quite a bit of the neighbors came to attend the sale.
This is a wonderful neighborhood.
It's a fantastic neighborhood.
Many of them that I've been in are equally wonderful. We've been very fortunate to have that and get to meet a lot of fantastic people.
Yeah.
Hi Ray, hi David Higgins. You guys, we really appreciate you watching. So Collette, one thing I really appreciated is even throughout the sale and visiting you on multiple days, I was amazed at how you would rearrange things even as they were sold, so that the sale never looked like there was gaps or empty, or, and when you think of just, I'll just garage sale it myself, you don't realize the amount of work that it takes to stage and to make the sale look appealing. So I was amazed at how you would rearrange things, and it always looked full, like there was new things to see or purchase. That was really amazing.
Thank you.
I think we came in all 3 days, and every day I was like, "Where'd that come from?
Where was that
Where'd that
from?
come
I don't
from?"
remember seeing that.
You move things around, and it's there's so much to take in, and then all of a sudden you've shifted things around. It's like, well, I didn't see that before, and but it's just
Well, I tell our patrons, you have to walk through twice one way, twice the other way, look up and look down, because you just might miss something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
now you did a sign-in sheet, right? Because how do you organize that? Like the night before the sale, what's your last thing you're doing before the big hurrah the next morning when you're getting up?
The night before the sale is just basically wrap up and finishing organization, seeing to it that all of our ducks are in a row, and we're going to provide the best sale that we possibly can. The day prior to and morning of our Friday morning sales, there is a sign-in sheet that we use.
You should get early birds, right?
Customers, yeah, they like to come early. There are avid estate sale goers, believe it or not, and this is their hobby, and they enjoy it. So they will be at the door waiting whenever we open it, and we're always glad to see them. So the sign-in sheet is helpful in knowing who arrived first, because sales are on a first-come, first-served basis to the public.
So do you only let a limited number in, or how does the sign-in sheet work?
Do you want to do your speech? Because I was there for the morning that you had started, and I thought it was interesting to watch you in your element. It was very professional. It was very friendly. It was very welcoming, but it also set boundaries and guidelines of how it was going to go going forward. So if you want to...
Our visitors and patrons are very respectful. We are in a wonderful community where people respect the homes that we're in, and we appreciate that. Part of that is developed from setting those boundaries and seeing to it that we're structured, and we try to provide a great environment for folks to come and purchase those items that our clients are hoping to resell. With that, entry into a home, we have to take into consideration safety measures, and it depends upon the size of the home and the flow of the home whenever we're evaluating how we're going to conduct our sales. So there's a lot that goes into the strategy in doing that.
Interesting.
Entryway, exitway, in order to eliminate safety hazards and see to it that there aren't too many folks that are inside of a house at one time in the event of emergency.
And this was a smaller home, so I think you started off with, I believe it was 10 or 12?
Right.
Right? Okay.
Right. And then just gradually watch the flow and see to it that the entryway is clear for entrance or exit in the event that something occur or somebody need help, and then allow for the shoppers to come and gradually move throughout the home. And part of the staging of an estate sale is strategically setting up and organizing items so that it helps to conduct that flow.
The traffic flow.
That's right.
That's smart. Yeah.
Hi V, hi Carmen, and hi Bobby. Thanks for watching.
So we get to the day of the sale.
That's right.
And you were very welcoming. You even had coffee and cookies and
we do
and
have good friends of ours have a wonderful restaurant. I'm going to send a shout out. Yes, Better and More, originally in Montfort Abbey, and now they have a location on Tryon that they've adapted. It's a larger restaurant. Wonderful food. So Lisa and Drew are great friends of ours, and they help us to host our estate sales by providing cookies.
Yeah, I thought that was the only one I think I've gone to that there was like a coffee station and snackage.
Coffee and cookies for the early birds. It keeps them going. Ulterior motive is to provide caffeine and sugar. That's the truth behind it, to see to it that they have shopping power. That's right. That's the shopping power. So that's a lot of fun. But yeah, our customers appreciate that, and it's just something that we do to offer our appreciation for their loyalty to us, for following our company as we service these families, and again, offering respect to the estate and hosting in their home as if it's our own is really important to us. So that's another method of getting back to respecting their home and seeing to it that we're providing the best service that we can.
So the early birds are there Friday as soon as the sale opens, and I'm a 9-to-5er. I work and I'm not going to get there till Saturday. What's the incentive for me to come on Saturday? Because my thought process may be, well, the best stuff is already gone.
Not necessarily. I mean, folks shop on Fridays for different reasons. There are different items that are desired. Chances are the most desired pieces will most likely be sold on Friday, we hope. So long as we have done our due diligence to research and price fairly and see to it that we are providing our best resources to make sure that we're able to resell that personal property fairly to the market.
Okay. And I think your buyer who's there potentially Friday morning as soon as you open versus your buyer who's coming Sunday at the close of the sale may be two different types of buyers.
Sometimes they are.
I mean, one may be coming for trying to find the best treasures, one may be coming for trying to find the best deals. So I noticed that you had there was a couple incentives you had. There was an incentive for the first morning, and I think if you were the first, was it the first 10 people in or something like that, you had given a percentage? Is that what it was?
No, we offer early bird specials.
Early bird specials,
yes.
Okay. So that was the first hour.
That's right, from 8 to 9. Oftentimes there are sales that are discounted throughout the weekend.
Right.
We'd like to honor our loyal customers first, so at the start of sale, we'll offer a discount 10% to the loyal customers that show up at 8 a.m.
Right. And then on Saturday, there was a percentage, and then on Sunday, there was a percentage, correct? Am I remembering this correctly?
Yes, and not every sale is the same. So we do, we call it strategic sale planning, where we have to note, with our obligation to liquidate, we have to note the items that are still remaining and whether or not we have to consider discounting them in order to resell them.
Right. Because your goal, obviously, is to sell as much of the estate as you possibly can for the highest price that you can in order to make the estate as much money as you can so that they can use that money for however that the estate has been directed to,
That's
to
right.
use the
to
proceeds.
Cover, oftentimes, families are in situations where they have to resell the personal property because they have been responsible financially for certain things, and they have,
whether it's paying medical bills, mortgages,
absolutely,
hopefully having some money for beneficiaries.
That's right.
Yes. So.
That's right. So there are all different reasons, and for that, we keep our clients first and see to it that we're attempting to achieve the best amount of money for each item that we sell.
Understood.
And it's helpful for our customers to understand that too, and understand this process, because some don't know and think that these items belong to our company, when in fact that's not the case at all. They are always the property of our client. So we service them as their agent in order to be able to simply assist with the liquidation. So it's always our goal to attempt to achieve the best prices possible for those items.
Hi, Alan. Hey, Shane and Rob Glover. Good to see you. And V would like to say thanks for sharing this information. It was really helpful.
Absolutely.
Collette, one last question. Do you ever do estate sales for living estates, or is it only after someone has passed?
No, it's not only after someone's passed. There are folks that ask for us to liquidate their estates for several different reasons, many of which are after the loss of a loved one, although in many circumstances it's because there are families who are downsizing. Perhaps an elderly person is moving to an assisted living facility, and yes, they still are living. Folks might be relocating to another part of the country, to a furnished home, and they need to liquidate their home here locally in Charlotte, and they'll call on us to help with that. So there are several different reasons, and it is not only in the cases where somebody has passed away.
And what do you do with anything that is left over after the end of the sale? Does I assume the estate decides, or do you decide with the estate where the remainder of the stuff goes? How does that work?
Yeah, and again, these conversations happen before we even begin service. So we anticipate hopefully selling as much as we possibly can. Although it's not realistic to think that everything will be gone. So those,
you didn't have much left over at this one.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that for them.
Yes.
Although there will be items remaining.
Well, always,
so
I would
we
assume, yeah.
Take time to talk with our clients about what they'd like to do with the remaining items. Some of them choose to keep some things, and would say, if this doesn't sell, I might keep it, or my family member's interested in it. Some choose to give it to neighbors, some choose to give it to friends, and others have the option of donating those items to the charity organization of their choice.
Nice. All right, well, very good. Is there, I don't know, is there anything else that you want to touch upon before we wrap it up today?
That is basically start to finish, and in conclusion, that donation helps to pass along those treasures to folks in need. And the final step of this liquidation process is the cleanup and final clean out to see to it that the property's ready for whatever the goal was. And then we summarize the estates with those itemized lists and with the proceed checks to go back to the client within just a few days.
It was incredible to watch the process. And when we walked into the house after it was all said and done, the house was empty and ready for the next step, which was, you know, prepping this house for sale. So it was amazing. So thank you for that.
Absolutely.
How do people get in touch with you if they'd like to reach out to you and use your services?
They can go to our website at timelesscollage.com. I can be reached by email at timelesscollage@hotmail.com or direct by phone 724-561-3962.
And if any of you found this information useful and you have a family member that you think would benefit, please feel free to share. We'll make sure that we make it public on the privacy settings. And if you guys would like to go ahead and share this or any of our previous Facebook Live videos, be my guest. You're more than welcome to. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I think we've taken up enough of Colette's time. If you guys have some other questions that you haven't thought of, just go ahead and pop them in the bottom. Both Collette and I will be probably checking periodically and answer those questions for you. And thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a great time.
It's not a great situation, but overall it was fantastic to connect with you and to develop this working relationship. And it's nice when you get to work with another professional.
Bringing professionals together in the community is a good thing.
It was good. All right. Well, thank you, folks. Have a great Friday. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Bye-bye.